Acted all alright. Had no need to fight. Tonight. Then drank all night. Acted all alright. Had no need to fight. Tonight.
Hi guys, and welcome to Sixth Element Engineering's new YouTube channel. On this channel we're going to be covering my M57 B&W conversion into my 200 TDI Defender 90. The car itself is suffering from blow-by on one of the cylinders and therefore needs a new engine conversion. In this build I'm going to be using Syncro Gearboxes adapter plate to fit onto the back of the engine, which will then mate to an R380 gearbox, allowing the conversion to occur. The car is going to be pushing out about 240 brake horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque. I'm going to start by stripping down the car fully, so we're going to rip out the 200 TDI, the transfer box and gearbox, which is an M57. The transfer box is going to get sent off to Ashcroft and it's going to be uprated with sleeve casing, ATB, all the rest of it. Personally, if I'm going to build the car that I want, with the engine that I want, I'm going to do it properly, so I'm going for the full 8TB spec transfer box just to be able to deal with that power a bit better. As you can see, I've done a few bits already, so I've done some sound installation and done my bumper with DLRs, all the usual kind of stuff, but in the past year I've started getting blow-by on one of the cylinders, so it's time that this comes out and replace it with something a bit more economical but also a bit more powerful. As you can see, I've modded it a bit already. I've gone for the classic air filter straight onto the turbo, which isn't the best idea, but I had it running through a snorkel before and the pickup was just horrible, so I went for this and that improved it a bit. Also, I've got a hybrid turbo, which I think I've got running at around 20 psi at the moment, so it went quite well. Boost pin, all the usual rubbish as well. Electric fan down here, which is all a bit horrible, but the car originally was converted around 2000 to have a TD5 body on it, and as you may be able to tell from the engine bay, whoever did the wiring just left it an utter mess. So when I do the build, I'm going to be ripping all of that out and just sorting it all out generally. Other areas up here that I'm going to sort out, I'm going to take the grills off, paint them a nice gloss black to match the roof. In the interior of the car you can see that it's already got the TD5 dashboard, and this was done when the original conversion occurred. What I've done to it since is fitted a double DIN Pioneer system with Apple CarPlay, which is just makes the car so much more usable. Dash cam and an Alcantara headlining, which you're going to struggle to see in the lighting, but that transformed the car as well. Other things that I'd like to address in here though are I'm going to make some side panels up for the sides and sound deaden it all. Same goes for the roof. I'm going to sound deaden it all and potentially fit some kind of something up in the where the Alpine window gaps are in the headliner to address that. The other area that needs addressing, which you'll just be able to see back there, is the rear door. I'm just going to create a door card for that and probably just coat it in some vinyl or maybe just spray black some checker plates to address that. The engine we're going to be fitting is an M57 B&W engine. It's a straight 6 3 litre diesel taken from a 530D saloon car, which was a 2003 if I'm correct. This engine's going to be pushing out around 240 brake horsepower with about 500 newton meters of torque, so it's going to be a huge improvement on the 200 TDI, and to be honest it's just more than a TD5 is really economically capable of pushing out, and that's running this at complete stock, so obviously that's going to save me a bit of money. I did consider further upgrade to power, but To be honest, I just don't think it's worth it. The 600 quid you'd have to pay for a new turbo or bigger injectors and all of that, frankly, just isn't worth it. And 240 brake horsepower is going to be more than enough to get this 90 down the road. Gearbox wise over here, I'm a bit of a forum warrior. I've managed to acquire this R380, which has been refurbished with heavy duty bearings by Ashcroft. The guy who was using it was rebuilt, used it in a 350 horsepower 300 TDI, so it should be more than capable of dealing with the power, and it's done very little mileage, as proved by the receipts that he had. Other things that are going to get changed out, I've got full suspension upgrades, but I'll tell you more about that later. And obviously we're going to go through the axles as well. So I've got heavy duty 24 spline half shafts there from Raptor / Terra Firma. I've got a locking Ashcroft front differential, which is going to be going into the car, obviously with the compressor to power it. And in the rear we're going to be fitting a limited slip diff, also from Ashcroft. As you can see here in these boxes, we've got uprated alloy intercooler, and same in there is that's the radiator. These are from Toyo Sport. I'm giving them a try. I've saw them on the internet and just drastically cheaper than AliSport, but we'll see. The quality doesn't seem to be too bad. I've inspected them and the welds and what have you, and it seems to be alright. In that box is the bulkhead removal bar. That's going to be fitted into the interior. I'm quite big and my dad's quite big, so we're both looking for that extra seating comfort. Other bits and bobs that I've got lying around, which are going to go into the car: ARB tyre inflation kit, as you can see, and various other bits and bobs. My particular favourite, the Syncro Gearboxes slick shift. It's going to go great in the car and just give that R380 a smoother, quicker shift and make it a far more drivable car. So I'm going to start by taking off the bonnet, and I'll set the GoPros up on the windscreen so we can get time lapse going for you guys, and we'll go from there.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Right, so as you can see, we've got most of the front end of the car stripped down now. The next step is to remove all the fluids from the radiators, and then I can finally disassemble the final parts of the shroud, and we'll remove the radiator in its entirety, and also the intercooler and its piping.
and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays.
Right, so that's everything taken apart from the front end of the car. Radiators, intercooler, a lot of the pipes. The next things we'll tackle will be draining the engine of oil properly, and then probably we'll crack into the power steering and steering box, which as you can see is a little bit worn. The damper bushes are absolutely shot, and then also, as you can also hear from the rattling and the movement on the drop arm, the nut obviously worked itself loose and has absolutely knackered the splines. Luckily the steering box was tired anyway, so I'm going to be treating it to a new one, so I'm not too worried about it. Here you can see clearly labelled front rad and grille, all the bolts with the bits, which I'll store properly later, and yeah, we'll move on to the next part. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe for more Land Rover related content.